Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pageant Sit Down. My name's Regina Elena, and I am so happy for all of you to be with us today. I am even more excited because I have another Galaxy girl here with me tonight. I'm so excited. As you all know, Galaxy Canada is happening in person this year, and a lot of them just want to get their appearances in, and that's okay because I love meeting all of them. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Pageant Sit Down our Ms. Galaxy Grand Falls-Windsor 2020-21, Shanlee Mitchell. Hello, Shanlee. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited for you to be here as well. I love the lighting in your room. I love that you got it to match with the Pageant Sit Down. I love that. So for those who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So as you said before, my name is Shanlee Mitchell, and I'm Miss Galaxy Grand Falls-Windsor. I live in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador in the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. I'm currently a 21-year-old university student. I am studying education in hopes of becoming a primary elementary teacher and then maybe even going into guidance counseling. I am heavily involved in the Scouting movement and have been competing in pageants for a couple years now, but I'm excited to be heading to the Galaxy stage in August.
Well, we are so excited to have you on. I've seen that you've also done an international pageant before. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. I've actually competed internationally twice, once in the Dominican Republic and once in El Salvador.
Wow, that is definitely different from Finland. What was that like for you competing in all these tropical areas?
It was very different. I went to El Salvador in April, so April is a very cold, rainy, foggy month here in my province. So to be able to go to the sunny 20-something degree, 30-something degree weather was amazing. When I went into the Dominican, I actually had the opportunity to visit an orphanage and hand out things such as pencils and candies and stuff like that. And that was absolutely a life-changing experience for me. It made me realize how lucky and grateful I am to have things and to live where I do.
Well, I love that. When you were saying it was foggy and rainy, I was like, what is she talking about? And then you're like, in my province. So like, okay, that makes more sense.
We have a lot of fog and rain.
Oh my goodness. Well, I've never been to Newfoundland, but I'm sure it's just as beautiful as it is in the pictures. How has it been in your province during this pandemic?
We have been extremely lucky during this pandemic. I think my province has done a very good job of keeping everyone safe. It is mandatory to wear masks everywhere you go, like a lot of other provinces in Canada. Mm-hmm. We handle shutdown very well, and we are currently one stage away from opening back up to being normal again, so that's exciting. So one step closer, one step in the right direction, and our vaccinations we are at like a 70% vaccination for their first dose, and everyone's getting their second dose now, which is very exciting. I'm scheduled to get mine soon.
Nice.
So just one step closer to going back to normal.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that it's starting to open up. I know the East Coast was a little bit more strict, and I think it's good that they were. Here in Ontario, we are starting to finally open up, so hopefully when you come here for Galaxy Canada, it'll be so much easier and more open and less restrictions, but we'll see. Well, you mentioned Galaxy Canada and that you're excited to be competing. What is it about Galaxy Canada, since you've already competed internationally twice, that made you want to compete for a national title?
I followed Galaxy Canada from the start and was always on edge about joining. I knew I wanted to compete in another pageant. I just wasn't sure where I wanted to go, but Canada Galaxy caught my eye. When they hosted the first national pageant, I was on the live stream watching. When they hosted the second one, I was also watching. And it's really the promotion that Cindy does and how much she cares for the girls and how much the girls care for each other, how close they are that really wanted me to join. I wanted to join a pageant for myself because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it again no matter what. And I just felt that Galaxy was a good fit for me, and I'm so happy that I decided to take the step and join this pageant because I've met so many amazing people and it's gotten me out in my community doing appearances, and I'm just having fun, really.
That is so exciting. Well, I love hearing that you watched the live stream. So that means you've watched me compete both years.
I have.
Embarrassing. But I'm glad that you were able to find a system that you feel fits perfect for you. And I think that's also something that is important, is to find where you fit in. And Galaxy is so accepting of everyone. I mean, we were talking about your tattoos earlier. Feel free to show them off because there's no need to hide your tattoos there.
That's awesome. I love my tattoos. I love how they're so open to everyone of all shapes and sizes because I know myself, I've struggled with my body weight, and to go on stage in a swimsuit was going to be a very big deal for me, even though I have done it before, but it's always nerve-wracking. But yeah, I know that Canada Galaxy is 100% behind me, and that just is that little motivation you need to get on stage.
Yes, don't worry. We all have your back. We're all here to support you. And honestly, I know everyone is so nervous about swimwear, but the thing I say to people is we've all gone through this pandemic together. We've all gained COVID weight. We've all, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, I was contemplating, like, swimwear, but just embrace yourself, embrace your body. And I love that you see it that way too. A question from Elizabeth Marnock, who is watching. First off, she says, hello, ladies. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hi.
She says, with your experience, what is your favorite area of competition?
My absolute favorite area of competition, and has been from the start, is most definitely the interview part. I know that a lot of people don't like the interview part. They get really nervous, but that's actually my favorite part. I'm sitting down waiting to go in, and I'm just super hyped, super pumped, super excited, because it's an opportunity for me to show the judges how I would be a good fit for the title, and I get to tell them about my life experiences and my abilities and what I've done that will help me make a good title holder. And that makes me excited because I've done all this work up to getting prepared for the pageant, and now it's time to show off all my hard work and really tell the judges how I would be a good fit for the crown.
I love that. I don't like interview, which is why I interview people, but you are great so far, so I have no doubt that you're going to kill it in interviews. Okay, fine. What is your, I guess, not so favorite? No, that's a bad question. Let's not ask that question. It's too negative for the show. Well, you've done a lot in your community, as you've mentioned. So what is your favorite appearance that you've done so far?
I think my favorite appearance that I've done so far is the appearances that I've done volunteering with my scout group. As I said before, I am involved in the scouting movement, and anything that I can do with them is just awesome. So I've done a garbage cleanup with them, just helping clean garbage up around the community. And I was actually asked to attend their award ceremony and hand out some awards. So anything that I get to do with my scouting group, with my scouting family, is one of my favorite things to do as an appearance.
Were you a Girl Scout when you were little?
When I was little, I was actually involved in the Girl Guide movement. And then I went to the Sea Cadets, and actually it's my dad and my younger brother that got me involved in the scouting movement. They said that they think I would really enjoy it, and that is like up my alley, so I decided I was going to try it out for a night, and now 7 years later I'm still in the program, and I'm still just as happy to be there.
So what's the difference between Girl Guides and Scouts?
Girl Guides is a movement just for girls, so it's a place where girls go, and it's just girls. But Scouts is for both genders, male and female, here in Canada. But we do a lot of work together. We do a lot of stuff together. I had the opportunity to travel to Europe to a jamboree, which is basically just one big camp where groups from all around the world come, and there were both Girl Guide groups and scouting groups. So they do a lot of the similar things to do, like the camping and stuff like that. But the really big difference is that guiding Girl Guides is for girls and Scouts is for girls and guys.
Interesting. I don't know why. I always thought Scouts was for boys and Girl Guides was for girls, but maybe it's just the name of Girl Guides that made me think that.
Yeah, well, it's back a couple years ago. I think in the 80s it used to be just like Girl Guides for girls, and then it used to be called Boy Scouts, but
that's why
co-ed here in Canada. Now there's some places around the world that it's not co-ed, but here in Canada I'm very grateful that we are co-ed and that I and all the other females are able to join.
That's awesome. That's great. And the fact that you've also done Sea Cadets is also amazing. My brothers were part of the Air Cadets, and so I'm very familiar with what the cadet life is like, and going to all of these different camps, like Trenton and all these places. I am very familiar with all the parades and the mess and all of that. So it's really great. And I think you gain skills in something like Scouts or Girl Guides or the cadets that you can use as you continue to grow up. But then they also go hand in hand with pageantry, which I think you also benefit from.
Yes.
That's
I think the
awesome.
biggest lesson that I took away from scouting is that failure is okay as long as we learn from it. I'm someone that I still am, but used to be very hard on myself when I didn't succeed in doing something. But my scouters and the other youth in the program have taught me that as long as we learn from our mistakes and we use it to grow and develop ourselves, then it's okay to fail. Fail is such a negative word, but
No, but it's true. It is okay to fail. And I like how, when people lose a pageant, they're so down on themselves. I think it's great to be like, if you don't know how to lose, how are you going to win?
exactly.
So it's kind of the same thing where you're speaking about failure and saying that it's okay to fail, because then you'll know what it's like and you know what it feels like. So when you succeed, it's such a greater feeling at the end.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Well, another question. It looks like Elizabeth wants to take my job. She asks, what would you do with the title if you were to win?
I would do as many events and appearances that I would be able to do. I think I would set a goal for at least 3 appearances a month, but I would like to do a variety of appearances. I would like to volunteer at the Relay for Life, do the Red Shoe Rock for the Ronald McDonald House. I would like to stay involved and volunteer and do appearances with the scouting movement as I have done before. Just important to get out there in your community and take an opportunity that is available to you to do appearances, no matter how big or how small they are.
That's awesome. Well, I think you are doing amazing work in your province, in your community, and I'm sure you are just starting. There's still a month away, so I'm sure you are going to be able to do all the things that you want to do.
Yes, I have some more appearances planned already, so stay tuned for those.
I'm so excited. I love watching people do their appearances, and to see, especially during this pandemic where all the different provinces and countries are all in different phases of lockdown. So seeing what everyone's doing for their appearances, like I shifted to virtual appearances. I know some people have continued to do in person and do fundraising that way. It amazes me to see how creative people can be.
It is, and I love how it's being shared what the other contestants are doing for their appearances. It inspires me and even motivates me to go out and do as many appearances as I can. And it also gives me some ideas, because I know, as you said, during the pandemic, during the lockdown, it is harder to do appearances, and you can't do something that you would usually be able to do. So it was nice to get some ideas and see what other girls and other contestants are doing as well.
For sure. So we've all been in this pandemic for over a year now, and I know you signed up during the pandemic. What has it been like for you with your title in your community, and how has it made, I guess, an impact on the community?
I am very well known for doing pageants in my community.
Okay, girl.
I've held the title of when I was in high school. I was Miss Teen Grand Falls-Windsor, so people know that I do pageants, and I've done appearances before with my titles. So I think they kind of get a little bit excited to see like, oh, like Shanlee is back and she's willing to help and she has another title, she has a sash on, and my community has always 100% supported me in my pageant journeys, both locally and nationally and internationally. And I'm just so grateful that I have my community and my town and even my province behind me, rooting me all the way to Ontario onto the stage.
That's amazing. Okay, so how big of a city do you live in? Because I know Finland's not that big.
No.
And how popular or how big is the pageant scene there?
I live in a community of about 15,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So small, not too big, just the perfect size, I like to say.
Goldilocks.
Pageants are sort of known. They're like we've had our town pageant, Miss Teen Grand Falls-Windsor, and we also had the Little Miss Grand Falls-Windsor pageant. So we've had girls compete in those. So those are well known, and we also have had some girls go to some provincial pageants. So I wouldn't say that they're unfamiliar with the pageant world, but definitely not as familiar as some of the other places and bigger provinces in Canada. But I have been changing that. I have been changing people's views on pageants and people's opinions, and just shedding pageants in a positive light in my community and my province.
That's great, because you did say you are pretty well known in your area, so that's awesome. That means you're making a huge impact on not just your family, but everyone around you. Like you said, you have people even from your entire province who are rooting you on, and I think that's great. I know that there are a few of you from Newfoundland coming. I think this is the first time since I've been part of Galaxy that we actually have a full team from Newfoundland showing up. So I'm excited to get to know all of you and to see who wins the crowns.
I'm so excited. It's going to be great to meet everyone, and it's great that we have a lot of people from the province coming to represent their communities and province on the Canada Galaxy stage.
I'm so excited for all of you. But okay, Galaxy, the Ms. division, there's a lot of you.
There is. It's beyond crazy, and even like this is only the third year Canada Galaxy has been happening, and I'm just absolutely mind blown and excited that there's so many contestants in my category. There's around 42, I believe.
That's a lot of women. I'm actually I'm one of the hosts. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm seeing your pageant, and so I'm trying to learn everybody's name, get everyone's pronunciation right, and make sure I don't butcher anyone's name because there's a lot of you. But have you been able to connect all of them?
We actually have a couple group chats on the go for the Miss category. So we have one on Facebook and we have one on Snapchat, and we do talk a lot. We talk like if we need opinions on something or just need some advice, some girl talk. And I love that. I love getting to meet the contestants before we go up because it makes it less nerve-wracking. We're all a little bit nervous when we show up at the pageant, and being able to know people just makes it more fun, makes it less nervous.
Oh, for sure. And I think it's great to see how big your group is. The sisterhood is real when it comes to Galaxy. So I'm sure the sisterhood is even more real, if that's even the proper word to use, for the Miss division. Elizabeth says, so excited for this division. It's so big. It's like competing at Miss Universe Canada. That's how many candidates there are in your division.
It is. It's absolutely crazy. It just gets me so excited to know, like, to see how good Galaxy Canada is doing.
It is. They're killing it. It's only getting bigger. It's only getting better. Katie Marnock is in here. The sisters are here today. She says, "Hi, ladies. Can't wait to meet you,
Hi, I
Shanlee."
can't wait to meet you either.
So excited for both of you to meet each other, for you to meet everyone else, and just to meet you as well in person. There are quite a few here who are tuned in, whether you be from Newfoundland or if you're from Galaxy Canada. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Say hi. If you have questions for Shanlee, let us know. Coralie Mitchell says, "Go Newfie girl, go," or "Go Newfie girls."
That's my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Is your mom coming to Toronto?
She is. She is my #1 pageant fan. She will be in the audience if we're allowed to have an audience screening with little posters.
I love that. I cannot wait to hear. I know Newfies can be really loud, so I can't wait to hear your mom. But yeah, if anyone has questions for Shanlee, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. I would love to ask them for you. And if you're new, please subscribe and like this channel. Just putting it in there. Your mom says proud and loud and proud mama. I love that.
She's actually what got me into pageants. She's the reason why I started competing, actually. So I started competing at the age of 13 when I was in grade 8. It was for a provincial pageant in my province. Someone brought it up to her, and then she came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to try this?" And I was always someone that loved trying new things and was always eager to do new things. So of course I said yes. We didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into, and I don't think we thought it would turn into this. So now, years later, I'm still competing.
And so what is it about pageantry that keeps bringing you back?
I think it's sisterhood. I've met so many amazing girls through pageants. I've made so many friends, and I think that's what keeps me going back, because I love meeting new people. And like I said, like, we have group chats already, and we're already getting so close, and I'm so excited to meet everyone in person. It doesn't feel like I'm competing against these people. It feels like I'm just going to Ontario for some fun with a bunch of my sisters, and I think that's what gets me going back. I don't find pageants competition as such, as more as a fun learning experience.
I love that. And while speaking of learning experience, you kind of segued us into our next portion, which is 5 tips from a beauty queen, which is a segment we have here on this show. And Shanlee, I know you've been doing pageantry for a few years now, and you've had your taste at the international stage. So what would be your 5 pageant tips for anyone who's watching us today, or maybe catching up a little bit later on?
Okay, so my first tip is to break in your shoes. Your feet will thank you later. You don't want the first time you wear your shoes to be at rehearsal while you're at the pageant. So wear your shoes around the house while you're washing the dishes, doing the laundry, any time at all, even if it's just for a couple minutes each day. Break in your shoes. My second tip would be to plan your outfits in advance and take pictures in them. So whenever I go to a pageant, I have my outfits planned out in advance with my jewelry, my shoes, and even sometimes my hair and makeup, depending. And then I take a picture on my phone of the outfit with my jewelry on. And then so when I get to the pageant, I know, okay, on day 1, I'm wearing this, and I need to have this jewelry on with it. So then it makes it easier for packing, and it's definitely less stressful when you get there, because you're going to be hyped up on nerves and excitement, and anything that you can do to help with that would make it easier. So my third tip is to bring safety pins. Safety pins are a pageant girl's #1 best friend. Safety pins can be used to, if a button breaks on a blazer or your outfit, or if you need to fix something on your outfit, and they're even handy for keeping your sash on the top of, because sometimes they slide off, so it keeps it really handy for keeping it on top of your shoulder, or even if you need to pin the bottom. So my fourth tip is to practice in your outfit. So what you're going to wear on stage. So whatever swimsuit you're going to wear, whatever evening gown you're going to wear, or whatever fashion outfit you're going to wear. Practice with it at home so you know how to maneuver the capes, what you're going to do with your swimsuit wrap, just so you know, and then you can decide if any alterations need to be made as well. So my last tip, we kind of already talked about this already, but connect with the other contestants before you go up. As I said before, it makes it more fun, it makes it less nervous. You're going to show up to the pageant already knowing people, and it just makes it so much easier and it makes it so much fun.
Amazing. Those are great tips from you. I love that your tips are very practical. You know, make sure you walk in your shoes so you don't break them in on the day of, or have safety pins, because you have no idea how many safety pins I've given away. And then when I need them, I'm like, oh man.
Safety pins and
bring your own
Band-Aids.
Yes. And double-sided.
Yes.
Double-sided tape. So Stephen Drake says, super proud. And your mom says, provincial and country pride is always awesome to see. I love it. I love all the comments coming through.
I'm so happy.
Me too. I love when our chat starts to liven up. Sometimes I see that there are a lot of people watching and then they don't realize that they can chat and join the conversation, but it makes it more fun. So to all those who are in our conversation. So Shanlee, if people wanted to find out more about you, or maybe they were wanted to know more tips from you, where can they find you online?
They can find me on my Instagram at shanlee.m. So SHANLEE.m. That's where I post a lot of my pageant stuff and just everyday stuff. So if you want to see what I'm doing, any appearances and stuff like that, or if you want to ask me to appear at an appearance, you can contact me through there.
Perfect. So make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you follow her on her journey to not just the crown, but journey and life. Michael Mealy, I hope I said that right, says, awesome young lady, proud to be a scouting friend.
Oh, thank you.
You have a lot of friends here. I love that. Are any of them coming to Toronto, or is it just your mom?
At the moment, it's just my mom. I actually have a friend in Toronto who I'm meeting up with, so hopefully she will be able to attend the show if it's a live audience, but she is coming to, we're gonna hang out and just do some stuff together, so I'm super excited for that too.
That's awesome. Have you been to Toronto before?
I've been there a couple times. I've actually competed in Toronto before, and then I've had some scouting trips up that in Toronto and Ottawa as well.
Hang on. Your mom just said she competed in a pageant that was fully in Spanish. P.S. She don't speak Spanish. How did you survive?
This is back to the friendship thing. A lot of the girls spoke Spanish and English.
Okay.
So they were very helpful in interpreting things for us. But things don't always interpret word for word. So I remember I was sitting in my interview when I was competing in the Dominican. And so you're a little bit nervous, you're excited, so you're not always like thinking totally straight. And they asked me the question in Spanish, and then the interpreter came back and said, what would you do for the future people? So I kind of just stopped for a second, and I was like, what does he mean by future people? Like aliens? Like, I was so confused. And then it took me a second to realize we were talking about the future generation. So.
Oh my gosh. Were you the only non-Spanish speaking person?
We had other every time I've competed internationally, I've always been with at least one other person from Canada. So not the only non-Spanish speaking person there, but the only non-Spanish speaking country.
So you realize the next time you go, you should maybe learn a little Spanish.
I do know some Spanish. I actually did my national costume little blurb in Spanish.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was exciting. And I'm able to introduce myself in Spanish, but to like carry a full conversation, I'm not very good at.
Well, it's great that you were able to have the full experience, regardless of what language the country spoke and what the delegates spoke. Like you said, sisterhood is great, especially when they are willing to translate for you,
Yeah.
because I can only imagine what that would have been like if you didn't. That's awesome. Okay, so I know we spoke a little bit about scouts, we spoke a little bit about pageantry, but what do you like to do when you're not in heels and all glammed up?
My absolutely favorite thing to do is anything outdoors. So I love camping, I love rock climbing, canoeing, whitewater rafting, anything like that. But I'm also a very big swimmer. I've actually been in the pool since the age of a couple months. My mom tossed me in and was there watching me as I swam along, and I haven't gone out of the water since. I've actually I was a competitive swimmer for most of my life until I aged out at the age of 18. But to this day, I still love to swim. It's still a very big passion of mine.
I love that. That's amazing. I went swimming over the weekend and I was like, I don't even remember the last time I stepped in a pool because of this pandemic. That's crazy. Okay, going back to pageants, your mom said she also won the Friendship Award, all about friends. Girl, your mom's spilling the tea over here. She's like telling us all about you. She says, hold on, I did have a life jacket on her. Okay, when she threw you in the water, you had a
Oh
life
yeah,
jacket
we
on.
were totally safe. She had a life jacket on me. She was in within arm's reach.
No, she just tossed you in and was like, you're free.
It sounds more exciting that way.
So, okay, so you were Miss Friendship, so Miss Congeniality. What was that like, especially not speaking the
I was
language?
actually very surprised to receive that award, and I think it was very special to me. That very special award.
Mhm.
I w- I still I still can't believe I won it. I always tried my best to be helpful. I had a bunch of like hairpins and flowers and stuff like that. So whenever one of the girls needed something like that, I was always willing to help them out with that. If they needed help with anything, I was always there. And I think that's like one of the most important, besides for the overall title, but I think it's one of the most important awards in pageantry, because that's what pageants are about. Pageants are about building these connections and building these friendships.
Hmm. So you're just living proof that there is no language barrier on friendship, and I think
Exactly.
that's amazing. And it says a lot about you. You know, if you're able to adapt and they're still able to get this genuine vibe from you, that says a lot. That speaks more than words. That's awesome. Well, let's go back to your mom throwing you in the water. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I love that, you're able to be outdoors and really. I wish I was more outdoorsy. I mean, I try to be, but again, with the pandemic, that kind of put a halt to it. But again, I've never been to Newfoundland. I honestly thought you were from Windsor, Ontario. Silly me. I can't believe I just said that on the internet. But I mean, what is it like in your town?
Our town and province is absolutely stunning. I'm so proud to be from my province. You can drive 5 minutes, 10 minutes around down the highway, and you are at a beautiful place to camp. It's called Aspen Brook. You probably won't know where it is. We have
Google it.
beaches and swimming holes. There's actually a whitewater rafting company. There's about 15 minutes down the highway. So I love going to support them and go whitewater rafting every summer.
That sounds like fun.
It's just a beautiful place to live. There's so much to do. We have it's like the backyard. What's the saying? Outdoors is your backyard.
Something like
Your
that.
background is your play. Your backyard is your playground.
There you go. There you go. I mean, my backyard is not my playground, but if I lived in Newfoundland and I could just go 15 minutes to whitewater raft, yeah, it definitely would be. I would not be at home right now. That's awesome. And okay, I say this every time I meet someone new from a different part of Canada, but I now do want to go to the East Coast. I do want to go to Newfoundland. Like, my fiance's family is from there, so every time his dad comes back, we always get like smelts or he brings home lobster. It just seems so much fresher and larger than life over there, even though it's so small.
You're welcome anytime to visit. I will have to show you around.
Yes, please. Let's go whitewater rafting. Your mom says this girl knows no limit, no swim team when we moved here to Great Falls, Windsor, or Grand Fall, Windsor, sorry. So she asked me to start one. If you can dream it, you can achieve it, is something she takes seriously. Well, there you go. Your mother is just feeding us all this information about you. You realize that, right? Mom, would you like to join us? That's awesome.
Yeah, there was no swim team. I've swam on swim teams before. So little 11-year-old me went to my mom. I was kind of like, yeah, like, why don't we start a swim team? Just simple as that. And I didn't think it was. It's still running to this day.
So your mom runs the swimming competition.
This is kind of, the swim team. Me and my mom ran for a couple years, but we recently stepped away from the swim team and the coaching aspect just because I aged out. But for a couple years, we ran the team, the coaching, the computer stuff, everything we did with some help from some other people. So we were a summer team, which means we swam for 8 weeks of the year. So we didn't have a long season, but it was still just as much fun. And we got to go to different competitions throughout the summer. And then at the end of summer in August was something we call Summer Champs, where all these summer teams from around the province go, and it's a weekend thing, and there's medals and ribbons and a bunch of cheering and just so much fun.
That's awesome. So is that how you got into Sea Cadets, is because of the water aspect?
I've always loved the water. We actually, in my town, we have Army Cadets, Sea Cadets, and Air Cadets. So I think what drew me to the Sea Cadet was the water part, because I love being on the water. And through Sea Cadets, I've actually learned how to sail. I went to cadet camp in Nova Scotia for 3 weeks, and my focus was sailing, so that was an amazing opportunity as well. Anything on the water I love to do.
That's awesome. You're like a real life mermaid.
I wish.
I love that. Your mom says sorry studying when we invited her to come on. Okay. I'm studying your daughter now. Thank you for the fun facts. That is amazing. Well, you've done so much. You coach swim. You are also part of the Scouts. You've been a Sea Cadet. How have you found those things go hand in hand with your pageant journey?
I think they've all helped me step outside my comfort zone in order to do pageants. I've learned life skills that have helped me towards pageants, leadership through swim team, cadets, and scouts. They've helped me be more involved in my community, which is something that is important as a pageant holder. I've just learned so many skills through the different organizations I've been throughout my life that have helped me transfer the pageants and have helped me just in my overall life with schooling, just everything.
That's awesome. I love when things go hand in hand because it doesn't seem like such a waste. It's like, but I benefit from it, so I can keep doing it. And I think that's kind of why I continued with pageantry. I'm like, but I gained interview skills and public speaking skills, so let me keep buying these shoes for the next pageant, please.
Right? And I think I need a new outfit.
Exactly. I benefit from it. Okay. No, that's great. I love that, everything that you do is one to better yourself, but also better the community and those around you, whether it be as a role model in pageantry or being a role model in Scouts or as a swim coach. But have you ever seen yourself going into pageant coaching, since you already have the experience, one as a swim coach, but then also the experience as a pageant beauty queen?
I think It's something I've always dreamed of doing. I just my whole career, I wish I could make a career out of competing in pageants. But that is not possible. So I
Not
think
in
that
Canada, at least.
no. So I think the closest thing to that would be pageant coaching. I think it's something I would definitely do on the side. I think once I officially said, yeah, I'm done competing in pageants, I think I would definitely look into the action of coaching and getting girls prepared for pageants and promoting pageants in my process as well.
You realize we all say we're going to retire at one point, and then you find something like Galaxy where you can continue competing in pageants regardless of how old you are.
Yeah, I said I was done after I competed at my last international pageant, but here I am now. You're never done with pageants.
Exactly. And the best part is, like I said, you're never too old to start either. So I'm sure you will continue your journey, maybe make a career out of it, or be an amazing coach. Your mom says, this girl has run a Little Miss Grand Falls-Windsor pageant. Tell me more.
Yeah, so after I competed in pageants for a couple years, there was always a Little Miss Grand Falls-Windsor pageant in my community since I moved here. But recently, the owner had to give it up because she was moving away. So I kind of thought to myself, well, that would be so sad. So many young girls look forward to doing this pageant every year. So I thought, hey, why not? So I decided to take the reins and run the pageant. So I did the choreography for the opening number, did like little certificates. Every girl got a certificate. I call them the Shining Stars. So everyone got a certificate, and then we had our overall winners. So, and the Little Miss Grand Falls-Windsor and the Miss Teen Grand Falls-Windsor had the opportunity to do appearances together. So for the pageant, we had evening wear, and I made my own portion, and we called it What I Want to Be When I Grow Up Wear, some veterinarians and stuff like that.
Oh my god, that's
and
so
when they
cute.
Did it, they got to say, like, hi, my name is Shanlee, and I want to be a teacher when I grow up. When I got them speaking in front of crowds, so just like little things like that. I really enjoyed it. I love getting to see the young ones on stage. I love kids anyways, which is why I want to be a teacher. So I'm also very excited to watch the younger categories compete because they're all so cute and their little dresses.
Oh my gosh, why is there not a Little Miss Galaxy from your area?
We are hoping to have someone compete in one of the junior categories next year, so keep an eye out.
So you're just testing the waters, making sure that it's all good for them, and bringing them next year? What you're telling us? Maybe.
Just we're hoping we can get some more competing. Because once you can always speak great things about the pageant. I know how great the pageant is, but like once you have some firsthand experience, like it makes it so much more easier to like get people recruited and more excited to compete in the pageant.
Oh, for sure. But that's really exciting. I love the Little Miss. There's just something about seeing the next generation of pageant girls kind of just grow up. So Junior Miss Galaxy Canada, Nicole Min, I actually worked with her when she first started competing in pageants, and she was a few years ago, but it still makes a big difference when you're a preteen from going from being like 10 to 13. It's only 3 years, but to see the growth in them from being unsure about who they are as a preteen to seeing them start to become their own stuff. And I'm sure you saw that with the Little Miss. So, and if you are able to run a pageant with little kids, you are definitely going to be an amazing coach and an amazing teacher one day. Thank you. Kudos to you. And thank you, Mom, for sharing these fun facts with us. That is great. So if people were interested and say they were watching from your area and they now know that there is a Little Miss Grand Falls-Windsor, where can people find more information? Are you still doing the pageant? What's the 411?
I actually not doing the pageant as of now because I am away in school in St. John's, which is about 4.5 hours away. So it hasn't been in a couple years, but I'm hoping once I get my schooling done, because that's my number one priority at the moment, I can come back and bring back the Little Miss Grand Falls-Windsor and the Miss Teen Grand Falls-Windsor pageant.
That is awesome. Well, as we start to wrap things up, you've shared so much with us. One more time, where can people find you online?
So they can find me on my Instagram at shanlee.m, so SHANLEE.m.
Amazing. And again, is there any last things that you'd like to share with our audience? I know it is a little bit later there in Newfoundland right now. I did not realize that you guys are an hour and a half ahead of us. So I don't want to take too much of your time. If there are any last things that you'd like to talk about, by all means, the floor is yours.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in, and thank you for having me on your show. There will be voting for the pageant happening soon, so stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys will cast your votes for me. And I'm super excited to be able to represent my community and my province on the stage in August, and I hope I can make you guys proud.
Well, thank you so much, Shanlee, for spending your time with us today. To all of you who are tuning in, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye!
Thank you. Bye.